Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brilliant chess battle packed with tactics, strategy, and surprises. Let's dive right in. White's Martyn Kravtsiv kicks off with e4, pushing his pawn like a fearless warrior claiming the center. The battlefield is set. Tension crackles in the air. Wesley So calmly responds c5 Sicilian style, planting a sly trap, whispering to the board, "We'll see who blinks first." Endgame. Nf3 from Kravtsiv. Knight springs into action like a scout, eyes scanning enemy lines, heartbeat racing in anticipation. So develops n cheeks, knight hopping out to contest the center, like a seasoned general ready to challenge every advance. Kravtsiv thrusts d4, striking the heart of So's territory, daring any pawn to resist. The tension thickens like smoke before battle. So captures cx4, snapping up the pawn as if claiming a trophy, silently warning, "No free gifts on my watch." Ian. Key. Nx4, from Kravtsiv. Knight leaps forward, clashing with the Sicilian defenses, daring So to counter. So sets up g6, fianchettoing his bishop like a sniper taking position in the hills, threat looming silently. Kravtsiv develops nc3, reinforcing the center, knight ready to jump into combat, the lines of attack forming like a storm. So slides bj7 onto the long diagonal, bishop's eyes sharp, plotting destruction if Kravtsiv overextends. Kravtsiv brings b3, bishop stepping forward, eyeing the critical d4 g7 diagonal, a subtle threat simmering. So positions nf6, knight jumps out like a guard, patrolling his king's perimeter, ready to pounce. Kravtsiv's bc4 places the bishop aggressively, a hunter locking eyes with prey, daring So to react. So castles, king slides safely away like a general retreating behind fortress walls, preparing countermeasures. Kravtsiv shifts bb3, pulling bishop back, maintaining the diagonal's tension, teasing So with a smile. So strikes a5, pawn marching like a soldier, claiming space, signaling an attack on the queen side. Kravtsiv castles king moves to safety, rook ready to swing into action, battlefield lines firming up. So pushes d6, solidifying the center, his army standing like stone pillars against Kravtsiv's assault. Kravtsiv advances, f3, supporting e4 pawn, reinforcing his center, like tightening his army's formation. So snatches nx4, knight captures knight, a clean strike, battlefield blood spilled, first taste of serious combat. Kravtsiv pushes a4, pawn storms forward, challenging So's queenside expansion, like a brave soldier waving a red flag. So develops b6, bishop slides into position, eyes gleaming, threatening to crush Kravtsiv's pawns if given a chance. Kravtsiv maneuvers. nd5. Knight leaps aggressively, hopping into the enemy camp like a daring saboteur. So response n7. Knight retreats slightly, guarding critical squares, plotting counterattacks with quiet menace. Kravtsiv strikes bx7. Bishop captures, sacrificing for initiative, forcing So's king to move and revealing a crack in his fortress. So recaptures key x7, king steps out into the open, a general exposed tension rising like storm clouds before a hurricane. Kravtsiv slides, q4e, queen threatens the exposed king, eyes burning with aggressive intent, the battlefield trembling. So sidesteps k8, king scurries to safety, like a seasoned warrior dodging arrows, staying alive for the long fight. Kravtsiv centralizes a feone, rook swings into action, lining up deadly support for the queen, pressure mounting like molten lava. So counters, ncf5, knight jumps into the fray, eyeing Kravtsiv's central pawns, ready to block or strike. Kravtsiv maneuvers near 3, knight repositioned to defend and attack simultaneously, tension crackling with every square. So pushes b5, pawn charges, a frontal assault on Kravtsiv's queenside, battlefield shaking under its advance. Kravtsiv captures xb5, opening lines, inviting complications, every square now a potential battlefield. So recaptures nxb3, knight dives into the heart of enemy territory, devouring Kravtsiv's pawn with hungry precision. Kravtsiv pushes cxb3, recapturing knight, battle lines, redrawn, tension heightening, like two generals circling in a canyon. So slides bxp5, bishop captures pawn, sharp teeth showing, queenside under severe threat, Kravtsiv forced to react. Kravtsiv swings redona, rook shifts into the center, eyeing open files, preparing for deadly counterplay. So brings b7, bishop shields key squares, fortifying his positions, preparing for long-term pressure. Kravtsiv pushes b4, pawn attacks, trying to break through, battlefield sparks flying with every move. So responds, xb4, pawn snaps forward, opening lines, battlefield intensity reaching fever pitch. Kravtsiv recaptures rx8, rook takes rook, first major exchange, tension explodes like a cannon firing in the night. So counters qxi8, queen captures, maintaining control, eyes sharp, calculating dozens of moves ahead. Kravtsiv advances nd5, knight jumps, aggressively, threatening key squares, forcing So to calculate under fire. So slides q8, queen retreats strategically, guarding weaknesses, plotting the next deadly thrust. Kravtsiv centralizes recon, rook joins the attack, aligning with knight and queen, storm clouds gathering over So's position. So brings b6, bishop centralizes, blocking lines, defending key territory, tension thick as steel. Kravtsiv strikes nxb4, knight captures, opening a hole, daring So to respond or risk disaster. So recaptures key d7, queen retreats, eyeing tactical opportunities, tension rising like a bowstring pulled to its limit. Kravtsiv plays nd5, knight repositions, eyeing infiltration squares, plotting to harass So's defenses. So calmly exchanges bx5, bishop trades knight, tactical simplification, yet pressure still simmers beneath the surface. Kravtsiv captures x5, pawn recaptures, opening files and diagonals, battlefield lines drawn, tension skyrockets. So advances rebite, rook lines up on the open file, eyeing enemy pawns, ready to slice into Kravtsiv's camp. Kravtsiv pushes h3, creating luft for king, subtle but important defensive move, sweat forming on brows. So strikes f6, pawn fortifies central squares, preparing counter thrusts, battlefield suspense rising. Kravtsiv pushes b4. Pawn attacks, looking for breakthrough, energy, and tension in every square. So slides, rb7. Rook lifts into attack, reinforcing queenside dominance, battlefield shaking with intensity. Kravtsiv centralizes k4. Queen positions aggressively, ready to dominate open files, battle lines hot. So shifts kj7. King steps cautiously, still in danger, but protected by army ready to strike. Kravtsiv maneuvers kj4. King steps out of potential threats, rook and queen now connected, tension thick. So slides k4. Queen invades, threatening pawns and lines, calculating a devastating blow. Kravtsiv pushes Rabon, rook challenges queen, asserting presence on the b-file, battle heating up. So counters qb5, queen moves aggressively, eyeing pawns, threat level maxing out, psychological warfare on board. Kravtsiv pushes f4, pawn thrusts forward, staking claim, opening lines for queen and rook, daring so to respond. So strikes 5, pawn blocks, establishing solid wall, tension so thick it could be cut with a knife. Kravtsiv slides, q4 ready, queen checks, forcing king movement, battlefield screaming with tactical possibilities. So, sidesteps k-guide, king steps safely, tension temporarily relieved, but danger still looms everywhere. Kravtsiv swings, Rakone, rook centralizes, adding firepower, preparing to penetrate enemy lines. So captures qxb4, queen grabs pawn, material advantage in sight, psychological edge increasing. Kravtsiv maneuvers qa3, queen repositions, threatening to invade, planning traps with subtle precision. So steps ka7, king retreats, avoiding tactics, tension remains high, pieces like soldiers ready to strike. White pushes h3, pawn cautiously advancing, creating luft for the king, subtle defensive preparation, tension rising. Black responds f6, solidifying f5 square control, like a general fortifying his lines before a major strike. White advances b4, pawn storms forward, testing black's queenside defenses, sparks flying on the board. Black captures, rars b4, rook grabs pawn, opening files, the first taste of explosive combat in the endgame. White swings q4, queen centralizes, eyeing key squares, ready to coordinate with rook for counterplay. Black retreats kj7, king steps cautiously into relative safety, but tension fills the battlefield. White moves k2, king sidesteps connecting rooks, preparing for active defense, sweat on the brow. Black advances, q4, queen invades, threatening b4 pawn and lines, board sizzling with tactics. White pushes Rabon, rook challenges black's queen, asserting presence, battle lines forming. Black slides qb5, queen counters, dominating b-file, Kravtsiv, feels the pressure mounting. White pushes f4, pawn thrusts forward, aiming to open lines, daring black to react. Black responds 5, pawn blocks, solidifying, tension thick like storm clouds over the battlefield. White swings. Q4 zoo, queen checks, forcing king movement, trying to create opportunities. Black sidesteps K-gate, king retreats to safety, calculation and patience at maximum. White centralizes Raccoon. Rook joins the attack, eyeing open files, plotting tactical strikes. Black captures QXBXB4. Queen grabs pawn, citing material advantage, psychological edge growing. White maneuvers. Q3. Queen repositions, threatening invasion, setting traps with precision. Black steps Kg7. King retreats safely, avoiding tactical threats, battlefield tension still high. White swings R8. Rook pushes forward, trying to infiltrate, lines opening and closing like a deadly dance. Black pushes H5, pawn advances, controlling kingside, subtle menace building silently. White responds H4, countering, trying to limit black's pawn progress, desperate defense. Black slides Cut7, king steps cautiously, ready for final phase, tension almost unbearable. White centralizes. Re8, rook swings into position, lining up with pawns and rook, last chance to fight back. Black pushes Q4, queen infiltrates lines, eyes on weak pawns, calculating with surgical precision. White exchanges QC4. Queen trades, trying to reduce pressure, material simplified but danger remains. Black recaptures FC4, pawn now advanced and threatening, open files screaming for action. White moves right, rook lifts to back rank, ready to defend, pressure mounting like a powder keg. Black steps, Kg7, king joins the action, final coordination with rook and pawn, unstoppable tension. White advances Ra4, rook swings to A4, trying to hold lines, final resistance forming. Black pushes E3, pawn storms forward, cutting escape squares, Kravtsiv's options dwindling. White captures Ra4, rook takes pawn, desperate counter, every square contested fiercely. Black steps Kf6, king advances, coordinating with rook, domination, imminent, tight. White captures, Rx3, rook takes pawn, last flicker of resistance, hope fading. Black finishes decisively Rb4, rook captures final pawn, control complete, battlefield conquered. WesleySo claims victory in a masterclass of precision, tactics, and endgame brilliance. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Pobena